Hello footy fans, welcome to another episode of Bev's Footy Tips. This for round 16 of the 2022 AFL season. Round 15, it promised so much and it certainly delivered. No doubt about that. So let's hope round 16 is just as good. Before we get into all things round 16, it's time to announce the round 15 winner of the Bev Show tipping comp. And it's a big congratulations to Larson 1996. This person correctly guessed 9 out of the 9 matches correct, along with 3 other tipsters, but Larson was the closest to the margin. So, Larson, to you, whoa, you beauty, you ripper-dipper champion, congratulations, you are the winner of the Bev Show tipping comp for round 15. Let's now take a look at the overall leaderboard after 15 rounds of footy. There's plenty going on here, so let me talk you through it. Proud house for Kai. He's taken back the lead after leading earlier in the season. He's top with 93 total tips. P-Crips Bro is in second, also on 93 total tips. And he was 8th in the previous round, so he's gone from 8th to 2nd. Cade Fagan is in 3rd, also on 93 total tips. 4th is Cats Fan 17 on 92 total tips. And then in 5th is Scotty Yez on 91 total tips. He was 2nd in the previous round, so he's dropped a few spots down the ladder. Hayden Burke is in 6th with 91 total tips as well. And then Minavini is 7th, also on 91 total tips. Minavini for Jaden led after the previous round, so has gone from 1st down to 7th. So plenty happening in the Bev Show tipping comp. It's actually very exciting to watch. Let's now take a quick look at my round 15 tips and see how many I got right, starting with Melbourne and Brisbane. I tipped Melbourne in that one. I tipped the Doggies over Hawthorn. I tipped Essendon over West Coast. I tipped Carlton over Fremantle. I tipped Richmond over Geelong. I tipped Sydney over St Kilda. I tipped Adelaide over North Melbourne. I tipped Collingwood over GWS. And in the final game of the round, I tipped Port Adelaide over the Gold Coast Suns. So it looked to be a tough round, and I walk away with 7 out of 9. So I will take that. That's not too bad. Just a couple of matches wrong. That brings me to a total of 87 total tips. Let's move on now to round 16. Round 16 begins on Thursday night with the Brisbane Lions taking on the Western Bulldogs at the Gabba. This match getting underway at 7:20 p.m. This should be a good way to start round 16. It is 3rd up against 8th. Of course, the Brisbane Lions coming into this game off the back of a very disappointing loss against Melbourne last Thursday night. They went down by 64 points. I was there at that game. I was very disappointed with what I saw from the Brisbane Lions. They're taking on the Western Bulldogs, who are going well. They've won 5 of their last 6 matches. They're coming into this match off the back of a good win against Hawthorn last Friday night. Besides the first quarter where they were sloppy, they were able to get the job done pretty convincingly by 42 points in the end. I feel like the Dogs are capable of winning this game, but the Brisbane Lions, they're usually hard to beat at home, and they'll probably get a couple players back. Bailey and Zorko should come back into the team. I think they'll be very hungry to redeem themselves, especially after that loss last Thursday night. So, look, I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to tip the Brisbane Lions. I'm going to go with 15 points. That's the margin I'm going to go with. But like I've said the last few weeks, I'm pretty poor when it comes to margins. I hope I'm wrong, though. I really hope I'm wrong for obvious reasons. Friday night footy is at Marvel this week. It is Carlton taking on St Kilda. This game getting underway at 7:50 p.m. The Blues, they're coming into this match off the back of a very, very impressive win over Freo last Saturday afternoon. It was a 31-point victory. I was there at the match. I was so entertained by what Carlton were producing on the field that day. And they're taking on a St Kilda team who have lost their last 3 matches. They now find themselves outside the 8. It's remarkable. I thought only a month or so ago they were a lock for the finals, and now they're trying to fight to keep their finals chances alive. And I'm happy to say that if they lose this game on Friday night, I'll be putting a line through them. I don't think they can make finals if they lose this game on Friday night. Yes, it's mathematically possible even if they do lose on Friday night, but just my personal opinion is I don't think they'll be making finals if they lose on Friday night. So it's a must-win game for the Saints. I don't think they'll win, though. I'm tipping the Blues. They're in much better form. They're undefeated at Marvel this season. I think they've played 5 games there for 5 wins. So they love playing at Marvel. They win there so often, especially this season, and they're in the better form than St Kilda. So Blues for me, but it should be an interesting game. The first of 4 Saturday matches starts in the afternoon with the Essendon Bombers taking on the Sydney Swans. This game getting underway at 1:45 p.m. at the home of footy, the MCG. The Bombers, they lost to the Eagles last round. They just couldn't quite back up that brilliant win against St Kilda the round prior, which was disappointing to see. And they're up against a Sydney Swans team who bounced back, beating St Kilda by a fair margin of 51 points last round. Of course, these two teams have already met this season once, and it was Sydney winning by 58 points. That was in round 9 at the SCG. Sydney have won the last 3 against the Bombers. Look, I expect the Swans to win this. If they don't win this, then all of a sudden they probably won't make finals because they've got some tough games coming up, the Swans. They've got the Dogs, Collingwood, Freo coming up, and they're not easy beats. So this is a game that the Swans just should win, and I think they will. The twilight match on Saturday is the Adelaide Crows taking on Melbourne. This game getting underway at 4:35 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. Both teams coming into this game off the back of big wins. The Adelaide Crows defeated North Melbourne in Hobart by 57 points, while a few days earlier it was Melbourne defeating Brisbane by 64 points, as I mentioned earlier. I feel like Melbourne, they've had their rough patch now, but after that win last Thursday night, I think that sets them up for the rest of the season. I think they can now go on with it, potentially lock up top spot, and then be in good form heading into finals. Although they did lose to the Adelaide Crows at the Adelaide Oval last year by a single point. I don't think that will happen again, though. I do expect the Deeds to be a little too strong for the Crows over there in South Australia. The first of 2 Saturday night matches, it's Geelong taking on North Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium, 7:25 p.m. start time. Not going to spend too long on this game because Geelong should clearly win this game by a big margin. North Melbourne, they're a dismal team at the minute. The rebuild is not going very well at all. I think it's fair to say that. These two teams have already met once this season. It was a 60-point win to Geelong in Hobart. I think it could be a bigger margin this time round, given this game is at Geelong's home ground. So the Cats to win that one. The other match on Saturday night is at Metricon Stadium, 7:25 p.m. start time. It is the Gold Coast Suns taking on Collingwood. I feel like this game is set to be an absolute belter, and I think it could be the game of the round. Gold Coast put up a gallant performance against Port Adelaide last round, but just fell short by 2 points. They did win 3 in a row prior to that match. They're taking on a Collingwood team who have won their last 5 matches. They're inside the 8. They're going well. They're looking like a really good chance to make the 8 in the current form that they are in. Of course, these two teams last met in round 7 this season. It was Collingwood by 25 points in a high-scoring affair at the MCG. I feel like the Gold Coast Suns need to win this if they're going to play finals. It's not out of the question if they lose, but it just gets a little bit trickier if they lose this game. Collingwood, well, they're not set in stone to play finals yet either. I feel like they're in better form, though, the Pies, so I'm going to tip them, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Gold Coast were able to get the win, especially given the game is at Metricon. What a game it's going to be on Saturday night. Can't wait to watch this one. The mid-Sunday afternoon match is the Greater Western Sydney Giants taking on Hawthorn at Giants Stadium, 3:20 p.m. start time. I feel like this game is the toughest game to tip because these two teams, for mine, are quite even. They're locked at 16 points apiece. Hawthorn, they're probably the more out-of-form team coming into this game. They've lost their last 4, whereas the Giants have won 2 of their last 5 games. It's at Giants Stadium, so the Giants, they're probably the logical tip, given it's their home game. Both teams coming off losses in the previous round. Hard game to tip. Look, 85% have tipped the Giants, 15% have tipped Hawthorn. The Hawks look like they're the underdogs, so I'm going to go a bit of a risk here. I need to tip an upset to make up some ground in the tipping comps that I'm in, so I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to tip Hawthorn with no confidence. I'm just going to go the underdog because I don't know who wins this game. It's a tough game for mine. I just can't split the two teams. So Hawthorn in an upset. Fingers crossed I'm right. And the final game of the round, it should be a really good game, this one. It's at Optus Stadium, 5:20 p.m. start time. It's Fremantle taking on Port Adelaide. Of course, Port Adelaide coming into this game off the back of a win, and they're only 4 points outside the 8 as it stands right now. And they're taking on a Freo team who are still in the 4 despite losing to Carlton last weekend. They're back at home, and I do expect the Dockers to be too good at home, although I feel like Port Adelaide, just like the Gold Coast, I feel like Port Adelaide also need to win this game to keep their finals chances alive. It's not out of the question if they lose, but it just becomes trickier if they lose this game, Port Adelaide. But look, Fremantle might tip in this one, just given the Optus Stadium factor. If this was at the Adelaide Oval, I'd probably be tempted to tip Port Adelaide, but Freo might tip in the last game of the round. So recapping my tips for round 16, I've tipped the Lions by 15, I've tipped Carlton, Sydney, Melbourne, Geelong, Collingwood, Richmond, Hawthorn, and Fremantle. And there you go, footy fans. They are my tips for round 16 of the 2022 AFL season. It's all set up to be another great round of footy. Cannot wait for it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below your tips for the upcoming round. And don't forget to press that subscribe button. Would really appreciate all of that. Enjoy the upcoming round of footy. And until next time, go the doggies! Catch you later.